Okay, thank you.
So my name is Rory Gorevic, and I'm going to talk about the journey that I went through over the last 2 years. I'm going to present BIM adoption in .NET, which is implemented in Israel today in one of the largest organizations. And before I'll start with my personal story, how my journey began. So one day in the evening, I am receiving a phone call from my head of department, and he is telling me, Uri, I want you to adopt BIM in the organization, and you have 4 months to do it, and I wish you good luck. So when I hang up this phone, maybe not right away, but thinking back, what I saw, what I understood was that my head of department understood that BIM is important. He knew that when he will receive the BIM documents of the design using BIM, and he'll take it up to the operation, he will have great benefits from it. And so he wanted BIM, but he didn't know how to get there, and he didn't really care. I'm sure that all of you read Alice in Wonderland. He didn't care how I will reach the destination. He just wanted to be there. And today I wanted to talk to you about the way and why is it so important not to only demand BIM. One organization should not only demand BIM, but think how they should adopt BIM. They should do it right away when they decide to start with this journey, because it will implement how their project will look like. Today, looking back 2 years back, when I received 4 months for this mission, I'll try to share with you this knowledge. So I'm studying how, as I said, I'm studying how large government organizations, owners, like the Corps of Engineers, like the VA or PFL, and others should adopt BIM. And when these organizations begin with the BIM, when they begin to think about BIM, they think that they think about 3 main issues. Usually, they think about documentation, how should they demand BIM, which guidelines should they use, what are the capabilities of their suppliers, and last but not the least, how to write the right contracts so that they could receive most of the benefits from BIM. But there are much more. They should think about more things. They have to think about how other organizations should adopt BIM, what they should bring to their suppliers, what should they demand from them. They have to think much more widely. And my research question from here was, what are the effects and connections of organizational BIM adoption actions on the result of construction projects? Starting to think about them in the beginning. And more important, I wanted to change the way we think, and instead of asking how to use BIM, starting to ask how to adopt BIM. And to do so, I had several options. I could use a qualitative approach and to have the adoption actions, to measure the adoption actions from the one side, what organization, the organizations, what efforts did the organizations put to adopt BIM, and the results, and to try to understand the connection between them. But it will be very difficult. I would like to find the most effective tracks. I would like to understand the bottlenecks. I would like to understand much more from the core of the organization, and to do it, I have to have many projects. And then I received this map. It's a bit complicated, but I'll try to explain how we got to this map. The map includes all of the project partners, from the organization to the client, including the constructor, the facility management, the designers, and others. We'll talk about it. And I decided that the approach that I will use is the positivist approach. I'll have a theoretical hypothesis and then try to prove them. Before I will continue about the map, I'll come back to the document that again, the three first steps that my organization went through when we decided to go to adopt BIM. So, first of all, we talked about standards. We had to decide what we will write in our own guides, and how we demand BIM in a country where BIM was not yet widely spoken in the industry. And what we did, we took 15 common guides that are mainly used all over the world, and we started to measure what are the main topics that are talked about in these guides, and on the basis of the frequency of the appearance of these topics, we chose in my organization 10 main topics that we will use when we start talking about when we're demanding BIM. The second thing was to buy the technology or to use the technology, but more than buy the technology was to explain that BIM is not the BIM adoption is not all about the computers, but it's much more. But it's much wider. It's about the process, the people. When we're talking about BIM, maybe in some organizations it will have to influence the organization structure, different work environment, things that we all understand. And another thing was while we're adopting BIM, there are different levels to adopt BIM, and we have to decide which level of BIM we should demand in each project or in the organization, while we have this variety of options. And once I understood that these three topics are the basics, but they're not enough because we're talking about how the organization or what the organization will demand. I want to think about the other project partners. When we're talking about projects, we have to think about the clients, we have to think about the contractor, we should think about the designers, the project managers, the permit agencies. We have to think about the holistic adoption process. And then I started to study what is going on in the UK. And studying these 5 large construction procurement agencies, I wanted to understand what they did and if they have, when they have the same mandate, and they have a government mandate, if they did the same actions when they adopted BIM, and how they see the adoption through their partners. And this allowed me to start to map their adoption patterns. And I did it using 2 theoretical models, the TEL, which helped me to create the connections within each organization, and the TTF, which helped me to create the connections between the different organizations. Altogether, brought me to the creation of the BIM. And now we'll start to talk about the map. So as I said, 7 organizations are all involved in the BIM. And now we'll see the first one that has its main trigger when adopting BIM is owners. And while they can adopt BIM guides, they have to create training plans, they have to create standardization and other different BIM object libraries. They have to work about leadership very hard. But this is only the start, because this influence on the other organizations and creates other actions that the other organizations should do. For example, the project managers, once they understand what BIM is all about, they have to start to create contracts, and then this contract will influence the construction, the contractor or the design team, which will eventually create the BIM execution plan, and each action is leading to another action. And we have here the administration, the regulation, the designer, the project manager, the construction. Each one has a map for one wants to understand this is the project manager's belief. So if a project manager organization wants to adopt BIM, they should understand what they should receive from the government or from the owner organization, and what should they deliver to the other partners. And it's true for the designers and the permit agencies. Some of them are more complicated and others are simpler. So when I started this, when I finished mapping all of these sections, I wanted to see what happened in the UK and how many actions they took when they adopted the BIM. What were more the strongest actions, and I found out that there are only 14 actions that were the most important. This is the starting point. There are actions. Sorry. There are actions about the organization should have, and they're very important. Extremely training the leadership, but standardization as well, and all of these 5 actions are very important because once the organizations don't demand BIM and don't do anything within the organization, it's very hard to receive the information backwards. The idea to use a map, now I'm having the case studies to learn in each case study how each action in different timelines, how each action is responsible for the rest till the end of the process, but using this map will allow different organizations to understand what they should do within the organization and between the organization to help them to collaborate and to understand where to put the main efforts. Well, thank you.
Well done. Congratulations. Good.